So let me plug my phone in. This week, I guess we should start a little serious, talk about holidays and talk about how we understand how it may be difficult for people who, um, it's just a different Christmas this year as opposed to last year, of course, for everybody. All right, I'm actually gonna take a photo. It's fucking sweet, man. This is what I'm talking about. I'm tweeting it. Twelve, 13, 14, 15. Can you hear me? Was that Twitch? Nice. All right, let me blow my nose real quick and I'm ready. Mhm. Got yourself a grown man now. Oh, yeah. As soon as we finish here, I'm going straight to streaming. One second, posting on Instagram. All right, yep. Just posted on my Instagram story and told people to DM me for details. Yes, sir. Let me see. Let me see 1 second how it's gonna look with that light. Yep, that light back on. There you go.
Thank you for tapping into some Untapped Keg. Episode number 2 live stream, episode 42 overall. We really appreciate you being here, enjoying this with us. So whether you're watching live, whether you're watching recording, this is really exciting for us. We spent a lot of time last night, spent a lot of time over the past couple weeks to kind of make our little wallpaper here, trying to figure out how this technology works. How do you feel about it there, big dog? I'm RJ Zimmerman, by the way, here with my brother-in-law, Monte.
What is going on, man? I feel good about it. I feel this is gonna be fun, man. This is something new. This is something different. We want to obviously keep things personable, keep engaging with our audience, and obviously we want to start incorporating some video, so you guys can see our faces, see our emotions, etc. So I'm excited, man.
I am too. I was a little nervous when because you're the one who really pushed that we start to get to the video, and I was a little bit nervous because I knew A, it was going to cost some more money, and B, it was going to be a lot of time and a lot of learning. So I'm glad that we did. This looks really cool. We got when we transition to the start, we got the theme song that kicks up. We got a Discord now. Like we're almost like a professional community. Like anybody who doesn't know Discord, it's spelled just how it sounds. It's basically like it's like a non-toxic Facebook almost. It's like a forum page. It's like what Facebook used to be. You can just sit and chat. You can see what people are doing. You can basically make it whatever you want it to be. But like it's basically just a source for communities to get together and grow. So like if you have something going on, let's say you're getting back into video games and you want to play some Rocket League. Say you're getting back into video games, you want to play a multiplayer game. You go in there, see if anybody's on, see if anybody wants to play. I don't know what you
Hey,
did
just
there we go. There's our hiccups. We're still trying to learn.
that was my fault. So I pulled it out because it was a little blurry.
Yeah.
So I just removed the camera and popped it back in. But obviously, you guys, when I removed it, it switched over to my Mac camera, which
got to see those sick
down
pants you're wearing
at my nice little red.
Those are nice. Did you get those for Christmas? Merry Christmas to all who celebrate. By the way, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Kwanzaa.
Yep. Indeed. Happy holidays to everybody.
To you. That's
there we
the
go.
Best cell phone commercial ever.
But these are old. These are old ones. I have not worn my Christmas ones yet. My parents did get me some sweats for Christmas. Shout out to the Rents, of course. But what's going on, man? What's going on? Let's obviously go ahead and hop in. Again, we appreciate everybody tuning in. But here at Untapped Keg, we obviously want to not stray too far astray at all away from our real personal conversations that we have. So I guess I'll kick it off and I'll kick it off and say, we obviously understand that it's a little difficult. It's been difficult all 2020, of course. And obviously, it gets even more difficult during the holidays. That being, if you're celebrating Christmas, Kwanzaa, Hanukkah, etc. Um, not being around family, friends, or not being around huge gatherings because of COVID and stuff. So I can imagine how tough that is, how difficult it is. It's been stressful for me. Um, very, very stressful, but it's been really cool, man. It's been really cool, RJ, that we've been able to do this stuff, kind of evolve our podcast into the video. Just keeps me engaged, keeps me in this whole like, oh, I finally have a hobby now. So something like this is pretty fun. It kind of keeps my mind off of the whole COVID and the lack of social in-person interaction. So I'm looking forward to next year. I'm looking forward to us all vaccinated, what have you, and moving forward. What's it been for you, man?
Um, well, as far as my wife and my kids go, I'm fortunate enough I get to see them every day. Um, I feel like mine and my wife's relationship has never been stronger, and honestly, us doing that podcast together, that one episode, that helped. Just being able to communicate, and I know a lot of people say
Right.
that. A lot of people say, the key to a good relationship beyond anything else is communication, because when you start to build in inferences and you build in implications, and especially if you're making those up yourself,
Hmm.
as human beings, we tend to be a little bit negative, and that's not necessarily on purpose. It's not necessarily on the person. It's just tends to be, especially with how our culture is, we kind of assume the worst, because of that saying that a lot of people take personally, and I do too. You hope for the best but plan for the worst. But like when it came to emotional conversations and kind of letting her know how I'm feeling, how I'm, um,
Hmm.
I don't know. Sometimes I'm still maybe a little bit. I wouldn't say complete. I would say not completely honest with myself when it comes to emotions, but like I've been able to have conversations with Ashley that
Right.
maybe 2-3 years ago we wouldn't have had. So
That's
it's
progress.
it's strengthened. It's strengthened what we have. I feel like we've always been a really good team. It's just a matter of whether we're both understanding that we are on the same team, and we can see that we are working towards something, and we're not just stuck in a rut. So like, she is a person that if she gets in a rut, she gets really depressed, even more than like seasonal depression, even more than anything else. Like if she feels like she's doing the same thing over and over and over again, she's on that hamster wheel, she gets very depressed. And it's sometimes I have to be the one to be like, look at what we're doing, like everything that's happening right now. Like we can't just go and do what we want because we have two kids. And we're not on that hamster wheel. We're both doing, she has two businesses she's running, one of them with a partner, thank goodness, and the other one, she has a great staff and a great business that she built, but she built it. She obviously feels that ownership. So sometimes that can get a little bit weighty. But when it was just like we would go home, or we would go to work, come home, play with the kids, cook dinner, go to bed, and then we go to bed, like, that does get a little bit depressing if you let it get to you. So, and that's not even counting the winter. That's just
Absolutely. Yeah, that whole
2020. That's how we are. But I feel like, right now we're on the same teamwork. Teamwork makes the dream work. I know I'm talking a lot, but
yeah. No, you're good, man. You're good, and I don't want you to think that I wasn't listening. I was just posting, um, this new thing that we're doing. I was just posting it on Facebook. Of course, posted on IG, posted on Twitter, but did not post on Facebook. But you made such a good point, man. It's all about growth. And I think, we obviously don't want to beat a dead horse, but I think it's just very, very important. Obviously, looking at the bright side of things, because 2020 has been a difficult year. But when we say that, we're not being, inconsiderate to those who may have lost family members, unfortunately, to COVID, or those who may feel extremely isolated due to COVID. But obviously, it's just really good to hear stories like that of people growing, people doing things that's making them better. So that's pretty cool stuff, man. Pretty cool stuff.
Yeah, and
Um,
one thing I kind of want to talk about too.
yeah.
So like, we were lucky enough we got to spend Christmas together. Um, I've actually, I mean, this has kind of been off and on since I went to college, but my
Mhm.
family and I were kind of in a rough patch right now. And it honestly, it does stem from COVID.
Right.
So like earlier, we've talked about how cautious we're being, and I've been on vacation, so I've been more cautious now than I have been all year.
Right.
I haven't had to go to work. Like work, if I get exposed, it's gonna be at work. But trying to come up with ways that we could do things so that my parents can see the kids, so that my brother and sister can see their two nephews.
Mhm.
It's been tough. So the first thing we did was we had a picnic, kind of met in the middle, and that didn't go great due to circumstances that were totally within control, but emotions ran a little bit high, and
Right.
I got really upset. I've had a little bit of a contentious relationship with my family for a few years now. Um, it's due to random stuff, but I mean, as far as the being sober goes, it's been a little tough. And then we were supposed to go up and visit them on Halloween. It felt like things were kind of settling down as far as COVID exposures go up there. So we're like, okay, we'll go visit them for Halloween. We won't go trick or treating. We won't go anywhere to eat, but we'll just order something in and we'll spend the time with the family. Well, I got called down to Mississippi, and that hurt some feelings
Right.
because we didn't go anymore, because it's really tough to travel with two kids alone,
Absolutely.
and especially those two kids alone. you know, uh, but so that kind of led to some hurt feelings, and then my dad came down to visit, and he went to a funeral over in Iowa for someone he knew. My aunt's father passed away, or father or brother. I think it was brother.
Mhm.
And unfortunately, so he went to the funeral, and he actually went out to a bar in Iowa
Oh, geez.
and was like, "It's
Was this
okay.
again?
It's a small town. It's no big deal." But then he came and visited my wife and the kids the next day like it was nothing. Well, it's like, we're trying really hard to make this work, but you're not taking it serious. So
Right.
Thanksgiving comes around, and Ashley and I are trying to think what we can do. I just got back from Oklahoma City and Mississippi, so like, if anybody has it, it's me. Like, I thought for sure I had it. I worked with two people who
Mhm.
tested positive. Like, I was like,
Right.
I got tested 3 times that week, and I was very conscious about how I was feeling. And then I was like, okay, so I'm getting tested. I would appreciate it if everybody else got tested the week of Thanksgiving. Just make sure you don't have it, like, whatever. And that started a fire.
Exactly.
So we've been a little bit distant since then. I've been called a lot of names. I've been told I'm unreasonable. There's been a lot of lies told knowingly to try to justify actions, and it's led to a lot of strife. Like, I want my family to be in my kids' life, but if it's at the expense of my kids' health, it's not worth it. My kids are number one.
Absolutely.
And I'm not saying
And I think
my
that makes you
family
a
are bad
good
people.
father.
I'm not saying my family's bad people at all. It's just it's just something that happens. We're just butting heads right now. It's just like no matter what is done on either side, we go back to the implying intentions once again that we talked about before in the communication. So one thing my family doesn't do is we don't confront head on, and when we do, somebody gets really emotional. There ends up being screaming and yelling and a hang up, or screaming and yelling, and somebody jumps in the vehicle and drives off. That's just what happens. That's what happens with my
Right.
so we ignore it for like, 2, 3, 4 months, and then we go after a while a cool down period. We go back to like nothing happened, and it just keeps leading to the same thing over and over and over again. But
Right.
as far as health goes, nobody knows the long term implications of what's going to happen. You look at that
Nope.
kid down in Florida, University of Florida basketball player, came out of a
Yep.
timeout. This is one of the best players in the nation. Like he was the front runner preseason SEC player of the year. Uh, he does it complete. He basically died on the court. He just came out of timeout and just
Much.
boom, passed out completely. They rushed him to the hospital. They had to put him in a medically induced coma for like 2 weeks, and he finally came out. And they realized that his heart
Jeez,
has
man.
issues, and they are taking it back to the inflammation from COVID. So, and that's not even including the Red Sox pitcher who has the same thing, might be done with his career at 25 years old. Major League Baseball from the Dominican Republic. You have football players who are still in and out of the hospital.
Mhm.
Nobody knows what the future holds with this. The vaccine is really exciting because it might give us some semblance of normalcy. I know I plan on still wearing a mask if I'm sick and I go out in public. Um, the fact that we wore it
Absolutely.
before kind of tells you all you need to know. But
Yeah,
basically,
man.
I'm just saying, like, being there's a lot of different triggers that can happen when you're sober, whether it be, you know, whatever your drug of choice was: alcohol, gambling, heroin, cocaine.
Right.
Whether you're trying to,
Yeah.
give up marijuana. You can see what Josh Gordon's been going through.
Mhm.
He had another setback, unfortunately. I almost wonder if football isn't his trigger, and he just needs to step away because it just keeps happening. It's just a cycle.
Yeah, it's a stressful sport. It's a
Yeah,
very, very stressful, stressful sport. But man, I think it's when you mentioning about your family and stuff. I think the good point that you're pretty much making is like I can only imagine what other families are going through right now because I'm assuming with a lot of families out there, some people are taking it serious, some people aren't taking it serious.
yeah,
So that's already causing a feud within families, maybe some passive aggressiveness tendencies, etc., that aren't getting addressed appropriately. So it's one of those things where some people don't know how to take COVID. Some people are taking it very serious and listening to CDC and listening to Dr. Fauci, etc. So I can only imagine how stressful it is for people out there. It's stressful for me, of course. Stressful for you and your family. Um, we just hope, man, if you guys just tune into us, chat with us, send us messages, questions, etc. We we can be your outlet. We can chat with you. You can come hang out with us. Literally, this is why we're using Discord, etc. Because we get it. We get it. We most definitely understand, and obviously those who started their sobriety journey this year, oh man, we're most definitely thinking about you. Most definitely thinking about you because
hats off, like
yeah,
legit. I,
because
I've had tough moments, and I've had tough moments this year. But starting out, I don't know if I'd be able to be isolated and not have friends to be
oh,
able to completely lean on. And man,
mhm,
that's
hang
tough.
out with and all that stuff. Most places are only at 50% capacity. Some places are closed. So this will be a difficult time to start, but for to those, yeah, to those who started and to those who are still going this year, yeah, yeah, congratulations, because that's remarkable stuff. That's tough, and you're crushing it. So that's pretty cool stuff.
Even if you feel like you've had moments of weakness because you've almost given in, or let's say, you
Right,
even slipped a little bit and had a little bit of a setback, like that's okay. That's okay. You're allowed to be stressed.
right,
You're allowed. Like, just, you are allowed. And if you get back up on that horse, if you continue through what you've been going through, like, man, that's where it starts. That's where it's maintained. That's where, you know, you just one step at a time. And I know that that's, you know, cliche, but that's kind of how I've been getting through it, is one day at a time. What do I have next? Okay, what's next? Mons, did we lose you?
no.
Put
So
this in the
I'm
Slack.
sorry for, but what I'm doing is I'm trying to figure out why my camera always gets blurry. So I was checking the settings. Maybe I have to drop the resolution or
I
something.
wonder if it's auto focusing on something else. I bet.
That's true. So my apologies for doing that. So what I'm doing, you guys, I'm just pulling my camera out, USB out, and plugging it back in, and it obviously clears back up. So I gotta figure that out after this episode.
We probably got to go into settings and like
Mhm.
manually focus.
Yeah, because yeah, I think you're right. I think it starts to focus on something else. Um, but sorry, please continue, man.
Well, I pretty much finished with what I was saying. Just
Yeah,
yeah, our heart is with you. Our we are with you. We're there, just
hmm,
day at a time. Keep getting through what we can get through.
absolutely.
Like this vacation, I started reading a lot more, which has kind of focused my mind. I've noticed I was really dehydrated. I'd go through like an entire day without just drinking something sometimes. So I
Yeah,
started focusing on drinking enough water, and that's given me a lot more energy. So,
yep.
if you feel a little bit sluggish, are you getting enough water? Like, if you're not feeling the greatest, are you getting enough water? Just things to think about too with your body, because mind, body, and soul, man. When those three things are working, it's a beautiful thing.
Such a great point, and this is what I love about this whole live thing, because whatever's popping up, I'm mentioning it. So no Sean Moreno, just just hit me up on Instagram because I posted that we're going live with our episode,
Yeah.
and the DM us for more for details, and he just hit me up. You in on it now? So no Sean Moreno here, right here. That's some funny stuff. So we're gonna have to possibly get. I know he's gonna want to hop on. 100%
All right.
know it.
All
So
right.
there he goes, right
We got
there.
we got
That's Sean Moreno.
we can build it.
So we're on Discord and we're streaming it to Twitch, right?
Yeah.
So what's going on, man? So let's so I think that's an awesome start. Let's get into some juicy stuff, man. Let's get into some sports. Alvin Kamara, however you want to say his last name.
Alvin Kamara.
Uh, Buccaneers doing damage. It's a Lions, a beat up Lions team, but still, um, I think it's pretty cool how we're experiencing football on it's almost like every day, almost obviously because they're trying to catch games up. But what, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, something like that. Maybe
It
we had
was
Thursday this last week,
Friday.
right?
Yeah, it was
Just
Friday,
Friday, Saturday,
Saturday,
Sunday,
Sunday, Monday.
right? That's some pretty cool stuff. Uh, Pretty cool stuff. Um,
What? What are you thinking about?
I don't really
What did you
know
get
if I even
lost
want
in
to talk
right there?
because I almost want to talk video games right now, man. Just because I got this new setup, guys. I got some dueling monitors here, and we're gonna be streaming a lot of games. Madden, streaming Rocket League, God of War.
The
I'll be
real
streaming
soccer game.
FIFA, all kind of stuff. So I mean, I'm pretty excited about this stuff, and honestly, I don't know if know, I don't know if my setup is complete yet, but I'm looking forward to completing it and really getting this bad boy going. The
Piece
streaming is
by
pretty fun.
piece.
Streaming is pretty fun stuff. Pretty cool stuff. But I'll stop rattling here, and we'll get back to
Well,
our.
no, I mean, you are. That's the thing about us is you tune in, you get the serious, the family, the sobriety talk, and now we get to go on our ADHD wherever our minds take us, right? So let's talk about it. So we've been trying to figure out the best way to do this streaming, because what we did before was we just like hit the share button and stream Twitch, so you got to hear our voices, and that was
Right.
it on the PlayStation. We did
Yep.
some digging, some research, and some research, and and we found that getting a capture card and going through like OBS so you can build your own pages is the way to go if you want to be serious about it. And you really wanted to be serious about it, so we did that. And
We
we're
did.
still trying
Yep, I
to
got the
build
capture
it,
card.
still trying to get it to work 100%. But there's been a couple times where it's worked mostly.
Right. Absolutely. I think that's the fun part about it too, is just keep playing around with it, keep testing it, keep seeing if this setup is going to work, switching it up. Maybe you'll find something better. Some research, reading up on some things, reading up on the camera, reading up on the capture card. I can see now. Yeah, I can see now. I have a lot more appreciation for the expert level streamers, because obviously when you hop onto their stream, you only see what you see. You only know what you know if you're not in the streaming world. So you just think, okay, they're just using a camera and playing a game. There's actually a lot that goes into it, a lot of logistics actually, with the settings, with the right mic, the right camera, the right laptop, the right systems that you got to download, the right monitors, the right lighting, etc. There's actually a lot of work that goes into it, than what most people think. So when you think of those gamers that are making X amount of dollars a month, most definitely deserve it. Because not only they have their setup, it's a beautiful setup. They have it down, they got it just printed down. Except that they also are putting in like 8 to 9 hours a day on a game, like consistent. With consistency, that's the thing that always gets me, is like, can you imagine 9-10 hours a day being consistent at it same time?
Yeah, and having your schedule, like, one thing that we found is there's some prepackaged templates, and every single one has a schedule on it, and it's like,
Right.
What? Like, all we know for sure is this right now. Like, we don't know anything else. What are you talking
Right.
about? And we barely got this
that's
going. It's like Band-Aid and rubber bands. Like, we're not the smartest people on the planet, so it takes us a little bit
right.
to learn.
Right. That's why it's pretty cool though. It's literally, to our dedicated listeners, you guys are witnessing our growth. Obviously, Jay
I
and
think
you and
they are
myself are witnessing
experiencing
as
it
well.
with us. I mean,
That's true.
especially
That's true.
right
We're
now.
so immature. Like, look, I got a purple wall back here. Obviously, with this and the Badger blanket, I think it's fun stuff, man. I think it's pretty entertaining. But let's get into some stuff here, man. So
We're getting into some stuff. Okay. Wait, hold on. I
yeah,
need to get serious now. All right.
into some stuff here, man.
All right. I'm ready.
Into some stuff here. I want to talk about. I think we hit the video games. I really want to talk about some football now. I really want to hop on that topic of
Hmm.
COVID and the COVID in the NFL.
Okay. Okay.
You know what I mean? Because when you mentioned about the young man who passed out on the court, obviously different sport, being different levels as well. That's collegiate basketball, but I guess what I'm getting at is the NFL. Obviously, they didn't adapt the bubble. I guess my question is, do you do you mark this down as a successful season during COVID? Do you mark this down as, pat on the back to Goodell?
Right now,
Or
right now, it's a somewhat successful season, and the only reason it's not worse is because you've been lucky that these games. I mean, you're not really because of the Steelers Ravens game, but these games with multiple players out, with a lot of key players out, they haven't been big, meaningful games. I think the only one that you've had is the Steelers Ravens. But you could look at the Broncos Saints game. I mean, the Saints didn't play well enough to win that game. They just got lucky the Broncos had no quarterback.
that's what, yeah.
So the Saints basically get a free win there. But the Saints have had a very tough schedule, though, too. So if, like, right now, the Browns are going to play without any receivers right now. I think there's one receiver on their roster that is not on the COVID-19 list. That's it. You had the Ravens with all their running backs, basically, and a bunch of defensive players. You had Cam Newton, Stephon Gilmore at different times.
Yeah.
Who else did you have? I mean, obviously, we just talked about the Broncos quarterback situation. The Lions coaches. The Lions basically played a game with no coaches. No, it's not. It's not a successful season, but you've been so lucky that none of these games have not been meaningful yet. Let's say you have a must-win game next week in the don't even go there. The playoffs. This happens in the playoffs. What are you going to do? Like,
successfully dodging. I guess I don't know what I'm getting at with that. They've been, but I guess just to spit it out, they've been doing okay during the season. But what's going to happen in the playoffs? Have to be scheduling games? Are we going? You know what I'm saying? Like this,
yeah.
it's.
Are you gonna
expect
so
a
you're gonna
messy
have to push
playoff.
that game back up to a Wednesday, a wild card game, and then the team that's on a bye, you're gonna be like, I guess you guys are playing on Monday, hopefully, maybe, or let's say it's the Titans situation, and luckily that happened early enough in the season they could shuffle buys.
Yeah.
And it happens for multiple weeks. What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do in the Super Bowl? Like, that's where you have to have the bubble for sure. But, I mean, these players need to start taking responsibility, that's for sure. But also, like, they really do need to just pay for the hotels. And players are hotel to this field. Like, it stinks, but that's what you have to do.
Yeah.
You ain't jumping in front of the doctors to get the vaccine. So...
No, and that's a good point, man. That's why I really wanted to bring it up, because when we talk about the 16-week season, for some, say it's been a successful 16 weeks. You can say it's not been a successful 16 weeks, what have you. But either way, we all know that some teams have been, some teams have contracted COVID. Some haven't, but obviously those teams that did, we had to adapt. They had to move games. They had to sit players out. Et cetera. Obviously, just like we said, the whole Broncos situation with the whole quarterback room having to sit down. Now, so that's why I wanted to bring it up, because what's going to happen in playoff? And when the games are, it's one and done. Well, what's going to happen? You're going to move a game, or we're going to have to wait for it. Or what have you. So I like that. I think come playoff time, I think they aren't already, brewing that idea up. They got to figure out of maybe getting some hotels or whatever, quarantine the players, so we can have a successful playoff season, and obviously successful championship week and a successful Super Bowl week. So it's going to be, my opinion, I don't think they're going to do that. I don't think they're going to
I think they've already
adapt
set the
the whole,
precedent that
or
they
adapt,
won't be
excuse me,
able to.
adopt. Yeah. I keep saying adapt. I mean, adopt the whole, yeah. I don't think they're going to do it, adopt what the NBA did. So I'm just always been telling people because they've been asking me, and I always just tell them, just prepare, prepare for a disaster. That being with watching the NFL, because if they're not going to do that, then expect for games to be moved, weeks to be pushed out, the season to be stretched even longer, playoff season to be stretched longer. I mean, and yeah. So right now, I think the tentative schedule of the Super Bowl is February 7th in Tampa, but that bad boy might get pushed. Who knows?
Yeah, I mean it's just a lot of false
Unknowns.
bravado from the NFL,
Yeah,
right? Like,
true,
because
true.
they're the monolith of sports right now, and sports dominate American culture. I mean, let's be honest, sports dominate world culture. If you look at soccer and cricket, there's always a sport that is dominating, has the greatest presence in a culture. So for Americans, it's the NFL. Like it's, as they say, the shield.
Right.
So that it's just a little bit of a big ego when you think about it, as far as
Of course.
thinking that you could get through this season without doing something special. It stinks that we got to talk about this so much, but I mean, it really is, like, right now, the most important topic that touches every single society, part of our lives. Like, same with how us being sober kind of reflects in the stories that we see and how we experience stuff, and what we do with friends. Like,
Yeah.
COVID affects literally everything, and then we
Everything.
experience something. So you just you have to take measures that have to deal with COVID, then you can experience something. It's not, you can't just experience something and then take measures for COVID. And that's what it feels like the NFL is trying to do, is that they're trying to get these games played, and then they'll take care of COVID. It's not they're taking care of COVID and
Exactly.
then getting these games played. So
Yeah.
it's the shield.
Yep. The NBA was like, okay, proactive rather than reactive. NFL is like, let's be reactive rather than proactive. So
But
the
I mean,
NFL
that's
is
been
just
college
waiting.
sports though too. Like, college football
Absolutely.
is just below the NFL, and
Right.
colleges should be more ashamed of themselves, honestly, than football even, because at least
Agree.
NFL is grown men making money. Like, you're putting kids out there who ain't making any money, who are forced, and even if you aren't overtly forcing them, you are, by saying that there's a season, and they are going to be letting down their teammates. They're going to be letting down, you know, their family members if they're huge fans of that school. Like, you're putting these kids in impossible situations, and I want to stress the kids part. Like 18, 19, 20-year-olds. I didn't know what I wanted to do at that age. Like, I just knew I wanted to drink some alcohol and talk to some girls, talk to some ladies. Like, that's all I knew I wanted to do.
Absolutely. And just be completely toxic. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
that that was that time. And you're right, man. I think it's, I'm glad that you're shedding a light on that, because it's so true. Obviously, the NFL, when we talk about NFL players, we're talking about grown men. We're talking about people who had the opportunity to opt out, but still get paid. I think, what was it, 150K? I think it was,
Yeah.
that they would still get. Um, and when we talk about college sports, it's yeah, they still have the opportunity. I think they still have the opportunity to opt out, correct?
Right.
In
Right.
college
And
football,
their
but it's
scholarship would have still been honored. Yep.
but that's yeah, but it's so different. It's different because it's can be held at you in a different way, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Um,
Absolutely.
there's a lot more that goes into it. Obviously, you're not getting paid. You're trying to make it to the NFL to accomplish your dreams, all of the above. So it's just a different, you know, aspect when you're talking about college football and them not opting out or them opting out, whatever. So I think, yeah, the NCAA absolutely. Um, well, most likely, if they haven't already, we'll have to answer to this for sure. Hopefully, God forbid, we don't run into a situation where we have a class action lawsuit from NCAA players who are experiencing um, lingering effects from COVID. Uh, I say God forbid because I don't want that to happen to obviously the student athletes, but it's the NCAA. It'll kind of be I hate saying it, but that's kind of what you get. NCAA, you getting sued possibly. So who knows? Who knows what's going to happen?
Can we
I
talk for a
think
second while we're on NCAA? How much of a toxic human being Dabo Sweeney is? Like, he needs to be out of sports and out of the public light, like, tomorrow. He's complaining about Ohio State having
yeah,
6 games and is in the college football playoff. Dude, you put your kids at exposure for COVID and you didn't care. And then when the other school was like, well, you have kids who are probably exposed, so we're not going to play, you called them cowards. Like, who are you? Who are you? Seriously, you're supposed to be growing these young men for the future, and all you're creating is this sense of entitlement. And
just
I just do not like that person.
true.
I
It's
am
completely
sorry.
toxic.
He is right now. He is like at the bottom of scum in NCAA sports, and I don't care who else you want to compare him to. Like, he is the very bottom until Art Briles comes back. Then he's back to the bottom. Dabo Sweeney's just a
No,
step above him, but that's it. But hey, you never know. He's probably covering up for that too at Clemson. So
no, that's true, man. I mean,
just
and that's the thing is
I
the
cannot
comments he makes.
stand that guy. I'm sorry. I get
I
really
think
worked up about it.
somebody, yeah, because but it's validated because someone at that level, someone at that you won national championships, etc. You got a really good team. You're a leader. You're supposed to be a leader. You're supposed to be like a Nick Saban in a sense. Nick Saban keeps his mouth shut, does what he's supposed to do. Obviously, some people have opinions about Nick Saban.
But
Um,
when you look at the way that Nick Saban talks about players, his players, talks about the players he coaches, talks about the program, like, he also understands that he has to help these kids grow. Like, it's not just
absolutely.
like, yes, they expect a high level, and I can guarantee that they work those kids, but like, he knows there's more than just about football. So, and Sweeney just feels like
He understands
he
that
doesn't
you.
understand.
No. I think that's all true because you look at Nick Saban and you look at a Belichick. They understand that they're not just coaches. They're coaches or teachers. People coaches don't understand that you actually a teacher. You're teaching young men and young women how to overcome adversity, how to endure pain, physical pain, how to endure critics, how to endure all of the above. That's what you're doing. That's what you're doing. So I think when we talk about Sweeney, we're talking about someone who doesn't understand that aspect of it. That you have these young men who, to some of them, you are their only parent figure. To some, they look at you in that light. Someone who they go to for answers, they go to with questions, etc. And he's just spreading toxicity all around them and showing them kind of person that you don't want to be. You don't be out there calling people cowards like that, man. When we're talking about COVID, you don't. No, you don't do that stuff. And I think your point is right. I think that is something that we do not need in sports. So I would love to see him. I would love to see him out. Love to see him get booted. Not going to happen, of course, but
Well, till the
I want
skeletons in the closet come out, but um, Yeah, I honestly don't think we need people like that in society. Like, there's a study out there, and this goes to like my job too, how it was,
Absolutely.
somewhat still is, but you know, Navy SEALs, you have someone who's a 10 out of 10 ability, but they're a 1 out of 10 team player slash person to be around. The Navy SEALs would rather be
Mm-hmm.
around someone who's a 6 for ability, but then they have like an 8 or a 9 teamwork, or be someone to be around. Like, toxic people, no matter how talented you are, they are not you're not good no matter what. Like, you can't be a part of the team. You can't be a part of, honestly,
Cancerous.
a healthy society. Like, people don't want to be around no matter how talented you are. If you're a really, bottom scummy person and you treat people like dirt, like, nobody wants to be around you. Like,
And look at the
be,
Patriots.
yeah.
Look at the Patriots when they had when Antonio Brown was there. For that quick little stint, and he's obviously, as people know, a toxic mate. Um, and they. So I guess what I'm getting at is that's Belichick. Belichick does not care, and for the short amount of time that I was there, that he actually said it. He does not care how good you are. Doesn't care how many touchdowns you scored in college. Doesn't care about anything. Doesn't care how many touchdowns you scored in the NFL if you're being traded or what have you. If you're a toxic individual, that's infectious and cancerous in the locker room. And that's what a team needs.
And I mean,
Um,
that's part of the reason that I also went sober. Was I was a toxic person when I got drunk. Like,
whew,
and I hated
I'm
that
right there with
person.
you,
I
man.
hated being
Oh,
that.
I'm
I
right there with you.
hated, waking up in the morning. Who do I have to apologize to now? Like, I took steps to correct it, and it doesn't, I don't, I still hate actions that I can remember, stories that I was told that I did. Like, and it doesn't justify any of those actions at all. But I had to
Right.
take steps so that I was not putting that toxicity out in the world anymore.
Absolutely. I'm right there with you, man. I'm glad you mentioned that. Right there with you. My story is pretty public. I think most people obviously know my story, understand that I was an extremely toxic individual when I was under the influence. Um, yeah, I guess just in a nutshell, pulling away from that person has been awesome. Because, like I said, it's more of a mindset. You know what I mean? Refraining from alcohol, yes, but it's the mindset, man, of now being on the outside, looking in a sense, or looking back on yourself. It's like, man, I was an a hole. I was an a hole.
Some would say the was is not, probably should be putting is, am. Oh, I got you good there. Oh man, you had no idea where I was going with that. No, I think we
Listen to
all
that
we
that
all
freaking
are
dad joke.
at
Jeez.
some point. At some point,
Right,
right?
right, and
We
it's
all are for sure. But like,
yeah,
I mean, we
that's why I love.
absolutely were under the
Sorry,
influence, right? I mean,
that's why I love people who. And I know I don't want to obviously make this all about me, but my experience, obviously, with being toxic and obviously committing terrible acts, etc. It's really, really appreciate those who understand, those who have forgiven me, all the above, who understand that you act uncharacteristically. You can act uncharacteristically while under the influence, and that's just not the person that I am. Um, so it's that's why it's awesome, man, that we are creating this community. We really, really, really want individuals who are struggling, um, substance abuse, mental health barriers, etc., tap into our untapped keg because um, there's two guys who just chat and just want to provide you with a community. Provide you with a community. Two guys who have sinned plenty of times, and we're just growing. That's really it, man.
yeah, provide a place for people to be able to grow, make mistakes. That's
Yeah.
okay. We all make mistakes. Mistakes are okay as long as you learn from them and you use them to grow.
Right.
Like, that's one thing that
Right.
I want to teach my kids. that I missed growing up, that people tried to explain to me, but I didn't understand. I want them to know, like, making mistakes is okay. It's part of growing up. It's part of who we are as humans. But when we
Yeah.
take those mistakes and we use them to grow, like, that's not necessarily a mistake at that point, right? I mean, it's still a mistake, obviously. And when you use it to grow, though, like, that's what living's all about, is growing. Never
It
stop
is.
growing.
It is. That's what I'm saying, and that's why it's the whole thing about evolving. We're evolving our podcast. We're evolving as human beings. You and I, adapting to the life of COVID, which I think is that kind of is the same thing as growing, figuring out a way to pivot, but in the same breath, obviously understanding that it's a difficult time for others. I think it's just really cool, man. That we have the capabilities to do stuff like this because not most, some people don't. Some people don't, man, and we're fortunate enough to do stuff like this. So it's just an awesome time, man. That being, with the whole virtual aspect. Um, but yeah, I think to go back to football, to go back to college football, college basketball, whatever. I'm interested to see what's going to happen the next season. The next season. Will we be out of COVID? Well, I don't want to say out of COVID, but
I
will we
don't,
be at the
yeah.
point where we're completely paranoid about contracting it? How is that gonna do with sports? And obviously, I won't forget. I'm big into movies. How's that gonna do with Hollywood, with their filming schedules, all that stuff? So I just hope that we all do our research, just like RJ and I explained the last episode. Do your research. Do your research on the vaccine. Listen to the doctors or explaining it. Why would doctors go through all those years of education, go through all that debt, accumulating all that debt to then lie about stuff? So do your research on that, and make an informed decision on if you want to take the vaccine or not. I'm gonna take it. Um, Most definitely gonna take it. I've done my research. I've listened to you, RJ, talk about it as well, and I'm just gonna go ahead and throw that out there now. I'm gonna take it, and then still wear my mask and stuff. So I think we all just gotta come together and be a giant team, and kind of get this stuff behind us, man. Get this stuff behind us.
Yeah, especially now in winter, it sure would be nice to be able to go to the movies, to go out to restaurants, to especially with New Year's coming up, right? Like, a
Right.
lot of small
Right.
businesses have been hit harder than most, and with the people in charge right now, they just don't care. They never cared, and they're showing again that they don't care. But
Right.
you know, support your small businesses when you can. I'm gonna be taking the vaccine as well. Hopefully, we will be through this. There's light at the end of the tunnel now. It's not just an endless tunnel that we don't know where we're gonna come out or how we're gonna come out. We know we can come out. It's just a matter of time, matter of some more patience. I hope that you found a new hobby, something that, or maybe you picked up an old one you haven't done for a while. Let's continue being good to each other. Let's just
Yeah.
let's just keep doing that, and then we'll be out of this. But getting back to the NFL, playoff chases are starting to heat up.
Yes.
The Raiders are
Yes, they are.
still the Raiders of old, apparently, with that Dolphins game last night.
Well, I tell you what, man. When we talk about the Dolphins, they are a very sneaky team. They're a very sneaky team because with the Dolphins, and it's funny too because the running back coach there was my running back coach in Denver, and I talked to him. I talked to him 3 weeks ago. I shot him a text. But prior to me texting him, we talked like 7, 8 months ago on the phone, and he said something kind of similar. Where just the group of guys that they have there, see, they experience a lot of adversity. Obviously, just being I'm a Broncos fan, so I'm just gonna always talk trash about the Dolphins. I don't care about the Dolphins. But I guess what I'm getting at is, obviously, we all know the Dolphins are not doing too well. But he said that they just have a really good group of guys who, can endure adversity and overcome it. And I think that just speaks a lot about that organization and obviously about their game against the Raiders. That's a team that's beat up and down from coaching staff to the kicker. In the water boy or girl, they still come out and strap their helmets on and play some football and beat a good Raiders team. Raiders is a good organization. Carr is a really good quarterback. Amari Cooper's he's not injured, correct?
Amari Cooper is a Cowboy. I don't know where you're getting your roster information from.
I am way off. He is a
real football fan. I think I am. Away.
I am. I just don't listen. I just don't like the Raiders because obviously I'm a Broncos fan, so I don't care about them. But you're right. I am
Nelson
way
Aguilar
off. Carr,
had a huge game last night. I don't know how good they are as an organization.
I like them. Carr and Josh Jacobs. I'm biased. I love teams who have a good running back system. Like the Browns. I play with the Browns all the time in Madden. But back to the Raiders, man, with Carr and obviously Josh Jacobs. I think that's a good organization that the Dolphins beat. But yeah, I think the race, playoffs, the battles to get in the playoffs has been really heating up.
Do you know what the Raiders did?
Do I know what the Raiders did?
Yeah. They were at the 1 yard line with a minute left in the game, and they kneeled the ball, ran the clock down to 23 seconds, kicked a field goal, and then the Dolphins went down in 3 plays, kicked a field goal, 1 second left on the clock to win. They were on the 1 yard line, 3rd and 1, and they knelt it to kick a field goal.
Like I said, I don't care about the Raiders.
Like, do you think that's a good organization if you do that? Like, that's not what you do. You don't know. You've played for touchdowns for years. Teams have known that, no matter who you're playing.
You do. And the thing is, when I say I don't care about the Raiders, obviously I do. That's a division game for my team. But I don't care to watch the Raiders because they're still the Raiders. But I still, though, think that it's a good football team because I love the way that Jacobs runs the football. And I'm biased, of course, but that I get what you're saying. Obviously, one player doesn't make the team great or good. I just like what Chucky has been doing with the Raiders. I don't care.
Hold on 1 second.
But I give respect.
One player does make a team good, and his name is Aaron MF.
Here we go.
Right? So slow your roll there.
Here we go. All right, you want to talk Packers? The Packers will make it, but they always lose.
Aaron MF and Rodgers. No, you made me come off the bench with that. That's all. Keep going.
Of course he's not. But I like Carr. I'm a fan of Carr.
Honestly, I think he is good. I think he's gotten a bad shake. I think he's a solid quarterback. I think he's above average. He could be up to very good. They finally got him some weapons, and he's having a really good year. Like, who was he throwing to last year? Hunter Renfrow?
I think he's right. I think he's I guess what I get at is when you are the opposing team and you are game prepping, game planning against the Raiders, you have to honor Carr's arm and you have to honor Jacobs' running abilities.
Huh.
You have to.
Huh.
You have to. That's a solid.
Okay.
That's a solid offense. That is a solid offense, and they I think they started pretty well this year, but fell off.
They had a lot of injuries. I mean,
that's what I'm saying. What happened?
Down to like their fourth string wide receiver. Granted, you look at what the Eagles have gone through. You look at there's been quite a few teams that have had a lot of injuries. I mean, look at what the 49ers did last night.
Whoa.
Beating the Cardinals. Like
49ers whole team. It was like
yeah.
The Cardinals though, man. The Cardinals. What happened with the Cardinals? What happened?
I
right?
think
Cardinals, man, when they started out this year, you thought the Cardinals were gonna
I thought they were a special
the
team.
Cardinals
Like
were
I
gonna
still thought going into last night they were gonna make a deep playoff run. I don't know what it is. I
that
don't know if
conference,
Kyler Murray's hurt. I don't know if the play calling
that
is.
division,
I mean, that has been the
that
best
division,
division in
the
football
Seahawks.
for
Yeah, the Seahawks and the
15
Cardinals like
years.
started pretty
No,
well.
less than that. Like 6 or 7 years.
Like what happened? The Cardinals and the Seahawks started like here, but all of a sudden, that's like 5 weeks, 4 weeks.
The Rams, Aaron Donald happened.
Okay, I'm like, because I had my money on the Seahawks, man, but
I told you,
not
I told
understanding
you
what's
guys at the
going on,
beginning of the year to slow your roll.
not
The
understanding what's
consistency
happening.
hasn't been there yet for an
Has
entire
not,
season.
not.
For letting Russ cook. That's not what Pete Carroll wants to do. Pete Carroll wants to run that ball, whether it be a four-string running back or Chris Carson.
Mm. That's
Like
what I'm
you
saying,
have
man.
you have Tyler
I think
Lockett and DK Metcalf. How are you not throwing that ball every single time? Like
that
DK
offense, I'm telling
Metcalf
you,
is like the most physically gifted wide receiver since Calvin Johnson.
I'd say
Like
since
for
Megatron.
real.
I'm literally going to say that.
Yeah.
Yep, since Megatron for sure.
I
And
mean, think about it. He went like I don't think he was a first round pick, was he? If he was like 30, 31, 32. Like, dude is a monster. And I'm pretty sure he wasn't a first round
well,
pick
I
because
got the internet right in front of me.
they were worried about his drops.
Oh my God, he went second round. He went 64th overall.
Yep.
I went higher than him. I
Yep.
went 58th.
Because
He is a
he wasn't
way
consistent in
better
college.
player.
He was one of those baseball players in the minors, they get bored. Like if you
Mhm.
keep them at a level for too long, like double A or triple A, they get bored. And you see a
Yeah.
lot of talent in there, but then they get bored, so then they start having bad numbers. And you bring them to the majors, and they just take off running because guess what? Now they have to try. So
Yeah.
it's the same thing in college. You have these players that get bored because whatever, I can show up drunk on Saturdays, and I still run for 200 yards and 4 touchdowns. Like that, and then they get bored, and then they get to the
I
next level, and they actually have to try
Yeah, I think it's
unless
it's
they're drunk
it's
all the
DK
time.
Metcalf. I tell you what, I did not know that 64th overall, and yeah, he's most definitely he's got the Megatron built for sure. And I mean, being that big, running a what? What he ran like a 4.3, I
Yeah, I
think.
mean, look at how he ran that
Like,
defensive
that's
back down.
ridiculous. Yeah, right.
I
That's
mean,
a very popular
somebody
meme now.
play that Jaws theme because dude just
he
yeah,
like burned everybody
yeah,
and
that
made
was
that.
that
So
was
that
unreal.
was pretty impressive stuff, man. Pretty impressive.
So all right, all right, all right. Do you
One
think
second.
there's okay?
Ooh. Ooh.
Did you just fart?
No. I think we could take a pause here for a second. Quick pause.
Really? Okay. All right.
Your boy's gotta go bad.
All right.
Sorry. I go. All right, sorry, man. Ugh. Oh, so sorry about that, man. That
And we're
live.
back.
So, I'm just gonna be outright and honest with you guys. So I drank some coffee and some things got to moving, and I had to go real quick. But I do apologize for that. Um, I'll be more prepared next time, of course. But sorry, man. Continue.
Where were we? Things and stuff. Stuff and things.
Something things like that. I like that. I think when we talk about football, when we talk about the players, we talk about teams fighting for the playoff spots and stuff. I think it's exciting. We still have some good football going on, but I don't want that to come off as me being selfish in a way because obviously you got to worry about the their health.
I
We
think
talk
it's
about
it's
COVID,
okay
but
to want that. It's okay to want a distraction. It's okay to.
true,
I mean,
true,
I think first and foremost, everybody really wants everybody else to be. Well, not everybody, because there are true a holes out there, but everybody wants to
right,
be. Um, everybody to be kind of safe. So,
right, right.
well, so you're gonna go right into your stream. I think that's enough about football. You're going right into your stream after this. What are you gonna be playing? You gonna be playing some God of War
I
because you got a lot to make up. By the way, let
I
me let
do,
me look
I
up how
do,
long it takes to beat God of War.
I do. So I'll stream some Rocket League, some Madden, and most definitely some God of War. I gotta beat that. I do have to beat that.
It is a 21-hour main story,
Oh,
so you better get to moving.
gotta get to moving on
It
that.
did
I'm only
not. It
about
did
an hour
not
and a half in.
feel like it was 21 hours. Apparently, completionist is 50, and I beat everything in that game. So, apparently, I put 50 hours in it, and I did not know it. That game is worth it. I'm gonna go back to it soon, and it's gonna be.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm gonna really enjoy it. I love that. Like I said, I love that game. It's an amazing game. It's gonna get its hooks in you. You're gonna be like, why did I wait so long? That's
yeah.
It's gonna
Here's the thing.
last
I
you
think I'm
this
gonna really
year.
love
You
it
gotta get
now
to
with
it.
my my new setup. I don't think it's gonna have the effects on me like The Last of Us did.
That's what you said
But
about The
hey,
Last
if
of
it
Us, though.
does, that is what I said. And The Last of Us,
You're
from
talking a
top to bottom,
lot of junk.
The Last of Us in The Last of Us Part Two at this current moment, and I mean we've beat this dead horse for a long time, plenty of episodes, but that game is amazing. Now here's the thing: if God of War is better, great, because then I'll be able to say that I played an amazing game. so
You'll be able to
so
talk
Rocket
about the
League,
amazing
Madden,
story.
right? Rocket League, Madden, FIFA, God of War, not in that order, but those are the four games I'll be streaming. Absolutely.
Well, just remember when you're in OBS to change the main scenes
Touche.
back to
Right?
your streaming ones. Don't edit the
Touche.
ones that I spent time on.
So true.
Um, all right, yeah. You know what? That was a pretty good episode. Where can they
I think
find you,
so, man.
Mods?
You guys can find me at Monte Ball 28 on Twitter, Instagram, Monte Ball. Obviously, the Untapped Cake pages as well on social media. Please shoot me a message, topics, anything, and we get it covered. We will get it covered. Where can they find you, man?
I'm at It's Trickster on Twitter. ITZ, the I is a 1 in Trickster. Hopefully, eventually, we can get those thrown up underneath our screens here. We're still working at it, still trying to get it all the kinks worked out. Trying to figure out how to edit this. It's finding that time to do this stuff. That's where it is. So, you know what?
Right.
Untapped Keg everywhere. Just Google Untapped Keg. We're the first thing that pops up. Any social media that we're on. Look up our Discord channel now. We are logged in quite a bit. So we'll see if you send us a message, and yeah, look us up on Reddit too. You start threads on your own. Like it's basically a forum page. Just let us know how you're feeling, how you're doing, how the Christmas season was to you. And yeah, let's try to be better tomorrow than we were today. Because at least if we fail, we're trying. So thank you, everybody, and you have a great day.
You guys.